odds to win Super Bowl MVP. 4 quarterbacks that we're talking about, all at the top. Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, both plus 350 there. Patrick Mahomes, who of course ran it a couple years ago at plus 350 as well, followed up by Brock Purdy. Hey, maybe the 49ers can win it. Maybe we'll see a rookie become Super Bowl MVP. Let's welcome in our quarterback, Brady Quinn, to talk about the 4 quarterbacks we're going to see this week. And let's start with Patrick Mahomes here. Look, we know he is incredible, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. He's got this high ankle sprain. How much does that impact him in this game?
It's going to impact him in a big way. I mean, one of the things where he stands out, I think really excels, is his ability to improvise, his ability to buy time and create big plays downfield. And also, he's a very capable runner. When things aren't there, he can hurt teams with his legs. He's a tough runner to add to that. So not having that ability, or at least not 100%, that's a challenge. And I think it's going to be a challenge, not only for them offensively to find ways of adapting around it, but if you have to devote more protection and keep more guys in to protect him, it's less guys out in the routes to find those mismatches and find those big plays. But look, if anyone can overcome this, it is Patrick Mahomes. Look at all the different arm angles he utilizes. He has the ability to differentiate his arm from the rest of his body and make throws. And even just with his upper torso, the way he's able to torque and throw the football, still put a lot of zip on it and be accurate doing so. So he's a guy that I think if anyone can overcome it, he can. He's the most prolific passer we saw in the league this year. He will win the MVP, but let's not get it twisted. It's a big challenge. He hasn't yet to beat the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow on the other side as their starting quarterback.
MVP, not Super Bowl MVP. I mean, when it comes to that injury, and I don't know who you have to win this game, did it sway you or is it swaying you one way or another?
No, I picked the Bengals at the start of the playoffs. And the reason being is Joe Burrow and their quarterback and the way he's playing right now. I think the defense has improved mightily too. But, if Patrick Mahomes was healthy, obviously, I think this game's a little bit tighter, a little closer. You've seen the line movement from where Kansas City was favored by 1.5 points initially. Now it's all the way up to Cincinnati giving a couple points on the road. If that gets any higher, I might start liking the other side of this one, at least for betting standards. Still a tight win by Cincinnati, but I just think Cincinnati's playing the best football of all the teams in this right now.
I just told by producer Jack that picks come tomorrow, so tune in for all of your picks. Brady's included in that. We're going to make him work on a Wednesday. He's going to show up. Yay. I'm just kidding. You work every Wednesday.
You used to host that segment. Now you don't show up on Wednesday.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about Joe Burrow here. Look, you mentioned him, how well he has done against Patrick Mahomes. 3-0 against him. Given Patrick Mahomes' injury, and maybe even not given it, is he playing the best out of these 4 quarterbacks right now?
Yes, I think right now he's played the best, the most consistent football, and especially since he came back from the issues he was dealing with back in training camp. Where he had a ruptured appendicitis, and he was able to come back from that and find his flow after about week 4 or 5 into the season. And even at times without Jamar Chase, they've still been able to excel, and he's still been able to do his part. He checks every single box, and I think the thing that I like about him the most is just his quiet confidence and the way he carries himself, where they don't care where they play this game. It doesn't matter if it's in Arrowhead, it doesn't matter if it's in the parking lot. Joe Burrow believes that he can do enough to be able to win this game, and that's just kind of the mentality that he brings to it. But I don't know that anyone's playing better football than him right now. We can have a debate as far as who is the best between Mahomes and Allen and Joe Burrow, and everyone's doing that. It doesn't matter. Burrow is the one that's still playing, and he's doing the best job of all of them at this current moment.
Bengals Chiefs, 6:30 p.m. on Sunday on CBS. We can't wait for that one. Let's go to the NFC. Let's talk about Jalen Hurts here. Look, coming off that injury initially, didn't really look as strong. Last game looked much, much better here. But he's going up against his 49ers defense. How does he try to exploit them?
Well, he needs some help. I'll put it that way. He needs his offensive line to play as physical as they did in this past week's game versus the New York Giants, where they dominated up front. I mean, outside of the bomb early to showcase and let the New York Giants defense know his shoulder's okay, he can make the throws downfield, it was all of the offensive line and their dominance, and even the receivers and tight ends blocking on the outside and some of the quick passing game. And so Hurts didn't have to do too much. I think in this matchup, look, he's going to have to make some plays because the 49ers are going to make some plays of their own, and there's going to be pressure. There's going to be times you have to get outside the pocket, either on quarterback design runs or pass plays. Use that skill set. He's a true dual threat quarterback, and you're at that time of the season where you got to sell out. You got to put it all on the line in the NFC Championship game to get to a Super Bowl where you got an extra couple of weeks to rest after this week's game, and I don't think there's any doubt he's going to do it. So some people might still have reservations about his shoulder. I know I don't, and I think he's going to go into it as close to 100% as you can be as a player at this point in time in the season.
Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy actually faced one another back in college. Oklahoma, Iowa State. I mean,
who won that game?
Didn't Oklahoma win by like just one, or was it the other side?
It was an OT, but I believe it was Jalen Hurts in that game.
Yes, 42-41 against Iowa State. I don't know if Chris Hassel and I will make a side bet because even though it's Iowa State, he roots for every single Iowa school. Okay, let's talk about Brock Purdy going into this position. Rookie quarterback here. Nobody thought he would be in this position. I'm sure you saw it on social media. We were talking about it in the newsroom. How many quarterbacks could be in Brock Purdy's position with this 49ers roster and go ahead and win? But what is it that makes him unique, that he has done so well to get to this point?
Well, I think it goes back to his decision to stay in school at Iowa State. You know, he could have came out a couple of years ago and instead came back to school for an additional year. Didn't have quite as good statistical year as he did the year prior. But I do think with that came some maturity, came building his football IQ and this foundation that he could take to the NFL and when called upon, be ready. And now you see him being able to excel within this Kyle Shanahan system like so many other quarterbacks have done. It's a very quarterback-friendly system. They are loaded with talent. I mean, arguably the best left tackle in the league, Trent Williams, at the age of 35 is stonewalling Micah Parsons. He's an all-pro caliber player. Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle, all those guys have been all-pros before. So his biggest challenge is just to manage the game, make the best decision possible. There was a play last week versus the Cowboys where he scrambled outside of the pocket to his left. He spun back, and it looked like he was going to do something. It was like, no, don't. And he ended up throwing the football away, and you're like, okay, there you go. It's a tight game. It's a defensive game. Trust Robbie Gould. The guy doesn't miss. And in that case, field goals ended up winning it, and then the pressure was on Dak, and he's the one that forced a few turnovers and made some mistakes in the end. So this is such a talented team. He just has to keep managing this. But credit to Brock Purdy for the job he's done coming in as a rookie doing it. I want to point out one more thing, though. You kind of came off the top talking about the youth of this group. Patrick Mahomes is now the elder statesman, if you will.
What, 27, I
yes,
think? Yeah.
And as far as playoff experience, too, leading the way. The interesting thing about it is 3 of these 4 quarterbacks are on their rookie deal. Now, 2 of 4, I'd say that's probably how they planned it, right? With Joe Burrow, the first overall pick, and Jalen Hurts, who was a second-round pick, but still on his rookie deal, and obviously has been placed in there as a starter. The Brock Purdy one that the 49ers kind of lucked into, and that's really forced their hand with the Lance injury and the Jimmy Garoppolo injury. But the point is this. You're seeing more and more oftentimes teams who have an opportunity to take a quarterback in the draft that they think they can build around during that rookie contract and then make a run. You got to strike where the iron's hot. That's the new model now in the NFL system. That's why you're seeing a lot of these teams have so much talent when you talk about Philly and San Francisco and how they load up around that quarterback position.
Really quickly, if Jimmy Garoppolo is healthy, because initially they thought if he was going to come back, it would be for this game. If he was healthy, who would you start in this game or in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I'd go with Brock Purdy at this point. I mean, he's played long enough now where I don't know if you want to disrupt the rhythm and flow of this. The tough thing is we've seen Jimmy Garoppolo in the Super Bowl before. We've seen him be able to lead a team to get there before. And that's the toughest part is, how much rust will be there? How healthy would he be? And do you trust him to come in there and give you something more than what Brock Purdy can? I think the experience tells you he could. But there's just so many question marks about where he would be if you get him up to speed by then. And Brock Purdy's always kind of, carved out this niche within this offense and how this offense operates. So I'd be hesitant to just throw Jimmy Garoppolo back in there unless I feel really confident about where he's at. And I feel like he could add another dimension to this offense that we're currently not getting with Brock Purdy right now.
Just 5th rookie quarterback to make it to a conference title game. So congratulations to him one way or another. 49ers in a very good position, though. Brady Quinn, we appreciate it. Brady makes an appearance occasionally on the Pick 6 podcast once a week. Their latest episode, Brady will hop on later today, I believe, or Wednesday, so you can catch him out later this week. He's hopping on today. But the latest episode talking about the Lamar Jackson saga. Sean Payton, is there any chance he ends up in Dallas? And all of those open coordinator positions. Make sure to download and follow. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.